Hi, everybody. Welcome to episode 69 of Herren Project Live. It still blows my mind that we have been doing this for over 69 episodes. So thank you for everybody that tunes in every week. We really appreciate you showing up and giving us an opportunity to share other people's stories and to continue to inspire and empower people across the country. A few messages before we get going. Today is Recovery Month. We kick off Recovery Month for the entire month of September. The theme for this year is Recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, and every community, which I love because with the Herren Project motto of one person, one family, one community at a time, it's perfect. And we are just looking forward to celebrating with Chris Herren Wellness, Herren Talks this month, and we ask everybody to join us. Show your purple. We have a Facebook frame that we have that you can add to your profile picture. So show your support this month. We would really appreciate it. And also recovery meetings. We started recovery meetings, online recovery meetings during COVID, and it's been incredible sharing experience, strength, and hope with everybody day after day. We've had over 18,000 people that have participated in these online recovery meetings. So they are going strong and we are excited to keep them going, but we do have a few changes. We just recently did a survey, and thanks to all your feedback, we are going to be offering recovery meetings now Monday through Friday, no longer on the weekends. So continue to join us every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. You can join right on our website. You just have to click a button and get to Zoom. You don't even have to register. So we invite you to join us every night at 7:30. And then we also have our first day film grant. We have 12 film downloads available to schools across the country. The grant cycle is open now and it will close on October 8th. So register today. It's a simple form to fill out. And we look forward to announcing the winners on October 8th. So now we have two fantastic guests tonight. We have two of our ambassadors, one adult ambassador and one youth ambassador, Kristie Sievers and Natalie DeLaCruz. So I am going to introduce Natalie now. Hi, Natalie. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's wonderful to have you. I know we love having you as a youth ambassador, and I'm so excited to be able to share your story with everybody, not just your story, but your experience and everything that you've done for us as a youth ambassador over the next year. Or last year, and you're going to be doing it this year too. Double whammy there. So why don't, before we get going, tell everybody a little bit about you and what you're up to.
So my name is Natalie. I am from Connecticut. I am going to be a freshman at Northeastern University, where I'll study political science. And yeah, as you mentioned, I was a National Youth Ambassador the past year, and I will be on the board this year.
Excellent. Wonderful. Now, before we get started, I know we were just talking, I find what's so inspiring about you is you have an incredible story as a young person. And I love your transparency and the way that you share it with your peers. So you want to tell us a little bit about, your story and what has led you to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm only 17 right now, but when I was around 12, 13, when I was in middle school, I went through a hard time with my mental health, and I turned to unhealthy coping mechanisms such as substances, and started as many people as possible to tell them that recovery is possible, and that anything is possible, especially if you put your mind to it. And so last year, almost a year ago today, I shared a video on my Instagram page, basically telling my story that got a really overwhelming response that I was not expecting, because it was the first time sharing my story so publicly, and it was a very terrifying thing to do because obviously it's very sensitive information, and it's something that I before was very shy about, self-conscious about. But through the Herren Project, I was able to gain more confidence about my recovery, and I was able to share that video, and I know that it had a really great impact. So.
Well, I remember when you shared that, and it really affected me too. I really appreciated the courage that it took to share that. And like I said, we were talking before we came on, the courage it takes to share your story, but then the power, in sharing our story. And I think that so many people, especially young people that are struggling, I think we're afraid to be judged. We're afraid to share. So, thank you for having the courage to
I mean,
share.
it was not only beneficial to my friends and my peers, but to myself, like I was saying, like building that confidence and finally getting the courage to tell people what I've been holding in for so long. And obviously, like other people were affected by it also. But for me, I think it was super powerful to just be able to share that for the first time with everyone.
Yeah, definitely. So that's a little bit about what led you to become a Herren Project ambassador. But I know there's a little bit more to that too. You were doing work at your school. You had a Herren Project club, I believe. Tell us a little bit, about how you brought Herren Project clubs to your school, and what you have accomplished there and as an ambassador.
Yeah, for sure. So early 2020, pre-pandemic, my administration at my school reached out to me because they knew that I was passionate about this, and they asked me if I wanted to kind of take the lead in making a Herren Project club. So it was actually, I think it was February, because we got one meeting in before the pandemic hit, and we started the club, got some amazing students to join, amazing student leaders. We kind of founded it on the idea that the students would lead it. We had a really awesome leadership network within it, where there was people that were there were people focused on mental health, and there were people focused specifically on substance abuse. And so there was a way for everyone to kind of be involved. And then obviously with the pandemic, we had to move virtual, which is kind of hard for a new club. So that year we had a really hard time getting things done. And then this past year, we were pretty successful. We were able to build our social media presence a lot, to kind of put out a lot of information and partner with our school for Wellness Week, Wellness Month, and also the student council, student government, the student newspaper. We were kind of just able to spread our message, which was very exciting. And we were hoping to get a grant at the end of the year to be able to use, but then COVID, everything got messed up. But, yes, so I started the club there, and then I ran the club, and I was a National Youth Ambassador at the same time. So it was kind of the liaison almost between my club and the ambassadors and the organization itself. And as an ambassador, I would attend the meetings and brainstorm, help think of ways to engage youth in this mission.
It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And, I know that you're now going off to college, mm-hmm. and we were talking, you have plans to hopefully try to bring some of this to the college level. Tell us a little bit about that.
So obviously I'm not there yet, so I'm not sure what the process of starting a club in college is like, but I would really love to see Herren Project clubs be brought to colleges and universities around the country, because I think that college students are really vulnerable to substance abuse. Mm-hmm. And also it's not talked enough about in colleges as it is in high schools, because in high schools you have the health class where it's usually addressed, but in colleges there's nothing like that. And so Northeastern actually has a really awesome prevention office that really just kind of focuses on this kind of thing, but not all schools have that. And so they might not have the resources or the information. And so I think being able to bring clubs to those kinds of schools would be really beneficial for the students, even the faculty and the families.
Definitely. So, I think you're a pretty amazing young person, and you have experienced, quite a bit in the short time here on Earth. And, what advice do you have, from your own experience for maybe other kids your age? Do you have any advice for your peers?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that I like to tell people is that you have to make things happen yourself. You can't wait for things to happen to you. You can't wait for someone else to make the change. You have to proactively first change your mindset to what you want to do and then take the action to get there. And that's how you achieve your goals, because no one else is going to do it for you. So
right. Well, it's kind of what we were saying. Be the change you wish to see.
Be the change you wish to see in the world. Absolutely. Yeah. You have to be the change for yourself before you can be the change for other people. So
yeah. Well, yeah, that's your favorite quote from Gandhi. I love it. I love that.
People are saying very nice things and like it's sad or whatever. So thank you very much, people.
So as you look to this next year, what projects, are you looking forward to working on? Any new ideas that you have in terms of your work as an ambassador for Herren Project?
Yeah, so we weren't able to have like a conference as ambassadors this past year because of COVID. So I'm really, really excited in planning like a conference, like a retreat type of thing for the ambassadors that I think is going to be in June of next year. I'm really, really excited to be able to plan that and to see where that goes, because I think being able to meet these people in person for the first time would be such a great experience. So that's definitely what I'm most excited for. But I think we'll be doing a lot of work with social media and trying to grow the platforms, maybe move to other platforms, see what's working to really engage the youth in our mission, which is obviously the youth ambassador purpose.
Right. Well, and we also, speaking of conferences, we've been trying to plan one ourselves for 2 years, the Inspire Youth Conference, which I think you'll be helping us with as well. And for people that don't know, information will be coming out shortly, but we have the Inspire Youth Conference that's going to be held at Anna Maria State College in Worcester, Massachusetts in the very end of July into the first week of August 2022. And we're going to have some amazing speakers, of course, including Chris Herren. He'll be one of our keynote speakers. And we're really excited to have this incredible conference to just educate youth and leaders and empower you all to be leaders, so that you can continue to make a difference in the world, because we need more young people like you, that's for sure.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, that sounds so awesome. I'm really excited for that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's called Inspire. So we're going to try to inspire each other. So we'll have a lot of fun. I know Izzy B and Jillian and Trisha, they're all working behind the scenes, and we're excited to get that going. So finally, what inspires you as a young person? Who inspires you every day?
That's a very good question. I would say for the what, I would say the idea that my story and the work that I'm doing now and the work that I'm hoping to do in the future can really have an impact on people's lives is definitely what inspires me. I graduated high school a year early, and one of my main reasons for doing that was that I wanted to be able to do this work quicker. It means a lot to me to be able to do things like this, you know what I mean, to have this impact on people. And it inspires me every time I'm able to do something like this. And for who, I would definitely say my mom. She's definitely watching this right now, but she is a great inspiration and a great support person to have in my life.
Awesome. That's great. Well, I know you inspire me.
I've
enjoyed watching you over the last year. Grateful to have you as part of one of our youth ambassadors, our first ever youth ambassador board last year, and excited that we get to keep you on as you go on to college. So I'm sure you're going to do some really great things for us. So we're excited about it. All right, and we're going to have Natalie come back in a little bit, but right now we're going to introduce our other ambassador, Kristie. So we'll see you in a few minutes, Natalie. You'll be back. All right, so now we're going to bring on Kristie Sievers. Hello, Kristie. Welcome. Hi. Thanks for joining us tonight. I know you and I were both talking. This is a little bit past our bedtime, but
yes,
we're not like the sprightly youth like Natalie over here. I'm drinking.
I know, and that's a hard act to follow. Oh my goodness, she's inspiring. So thank you, Natalie.
Yeah, she is incredible. I mean, she's one of 13 youth ambassadors that we have, and they're really just some of the most incredible young people that we've had around. I mean, and they're led by an incredible person, Izzy B, our youth engagement specialist. I got to give her the credit because she came to us when she started working and said, I just want a youth ambassador board. Okay. And she just took the ball and ran with it. And we're going into year 2. So it's been pretty incredible. But we can talk a little bit about that on the flip side of this. But more importantly, you're with us. You've been,
Thank you.
I think we were doing the math. I don't know. Pam may have answered me, so I'm going to look. Yeah, because we're like celebrating the 5th year of our Herren Project Ambassador Program, which we'll give credit to Pam for that because that was her fantastic idea as well. So you were one of our first ambassadors. So before we get talking, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I am Christy Sievers. I live in Northeast Ohio. I have literally the giant puddle in my backyard, Lake Erie. Interesting fun fact, and hopefully Pam doesn't get upset with me for sharing this, but we became connected, and what was even more connecting for the two of us is that I currently live on the street she grew up on when she was a little kid. So it's so cool because I pass her house or her old house all the time, every single day. And it's just like, so every day I'm like, oh, there's Pam. And I always think of her every day. So she's never, ever, ever going to get away from me until I move out of Ohio. So
I love that. That's great. I feel like it's kind of ringing a bell, but I kind of forgot about that. So that's a really cool story.
Yeah. And I love it when she comes home and I'll see her out running randomly in weird places and I'll pull my car off. I'm like, oh my God, there's Pam. She's in Ohio. And I chase her down. And because obviously I love to run as well. And, sometimes I'm sure people are like, what is wrong with this person? Why are they driving so weird? And, but, I haven't, I'm safe about it. So, but other than that, for myself, I love distance running. I'm a mom with 2 kids. My oldest is one of the reasons why I found the Herren Project along with other family members as well. But I'm just so grateful for the Herren Project. They've helped me improve myself first and foremost. Because like Natalie said, you can't help anybody else until you help yourself. So here we are.
No, and that's one of the things I'm most grateful about when I think about the Herren Project community, because we have just grown into such an amazing group of, or community of just transparency. And I think it's contagious and it's really making change in the face of addiction. So, I'm grateful for people like you that are willing to, stand alongside us, share your story, inspire other people, and just be an ambassador for not just about us, but for all the people that are out there, either struggling or not, or have taken the first steps and are in recovery and celebrating. And, I loved what you said when we were talking before we came on. We were talking about how yesterday was Overdose Awareness Day. And, we were remembering all the lives that we've lost. And then, I said, we wake up today and today's recovery month, and it's kind of a tough balance, but tell us what you said, because I thought how you put it and put this positive spin to it was true. And it was really beautiful.
As you were describing it before, the first thought that popped into my head is, yes, overdoses are traumatic and they're horrible. And my heart goes out to every single family member that has to go through it, especially if it ends up in a fatality. And I had to deal with an overdose myself. My son, of course, did not pass. Not, of course, it sounded rude. Sorry about that. He was okay after a while, but he still had the overdose. So I get that portion of it. But I don't like finding anything negative. I always try to find the positives. So I've tried to reframe it in my head like, okay, this is a horrible thing, but if it leads one person to recovery, there's the celebration. So sometimes you need to have the negative to have something to celebrate about. And it's sometimes you just have to reframe how you think about things. So then that way it doesn't get you down and it doesn't make you lose focus of your mission, which is to, of course, help others and bring them up. So
yeah. And
that's how I thought it.
No. And I think it's so true, because we do try to bring a positive awareness, break the stigma, and just bring hope, to everybody that is been affected by addiction. And one of the most beautiful things that I see all the time is when someone has lost a loved one, they in celebrating their life, they're willing to stand alongside Herren Project and raise money for us to allow somebody else to get a second chance. And I think that, like, it gives me goosebumps. I just think that's just so amazing and so unselfish, and through, the pain that they want to give back and help somebody else. So, to everybody that, we remember your loved ones with you, and, and like you said today, we inspire somebody that if you're out there struggling right now, we're here for you, and to not be afraid. All up. We'll put up, I have our little banner. So, this is a perfect time to say, if you are struggling, somebody on our team is here to help you, whether you're an individual or family member. We have lots of support, which you were saying, I know that you've participated in our online family support groups, and that they have been really helpful for you. So do you mind just telling people a little bit about our support groups and how they have helped you?
Yes, I joined the online family support group the day it was started. So the very first time that
you're like a pioneer of everything.
I am. Yes, but it's wonderful. And Kristen was so wonderful. She helped me again learn how to take care of myself and identify the issues I was having with me and how I was handling my people that were suffering from their addictions, instead of being like, girl, you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. It was like, okay, I'm lovingly seeing this. How can I help you? What do you need? And not like making them feel like they were being berated and hounded. So it really, the whole support and having other members and other team members and people in our community saying, hey, I've done this too. You're not alone. It was just such a comfort, and it helped me really focus on helping me, healing me, and then being able to work with my family. And I'm so grateful because all of our relationships are 1,000 times better now, and we're all in much better places. So I'm so happy.
Oh, we're so grateful to hear that. Support, and like I always say that as an individual is working on their recovery, it's just as important for the family to work on their recovery. And when those two things kind of can work in parallel to one another, really amazing things can happen. And I know that's one of the things that we noticed very early on at Herren Project, and kind of created these two separate paths that, at some point the paths come together and they reconvene, and there's just so much amazing healing that can go on. So I'm glad that, you've had that experience. And I think it also leads into what I was saying with Recovery Month. It's about every person, every family, every community. And that is what the celebration of recovery, we say addiction is a family disease, and it is. And recovery is a family celebration, hopefully for most people. So, but that's awesome. So, what does being a Herren Project ambassador mean to you? Like what led you to wanting to be a Herren Project ambassador?
I really wanted to make sure that people knew, especially people in my situation where they weren't necessarily the person suffering from the addiction, that there was a group, an organization out there that would still help them deal with their family members that were suffering, and help them navigate themselves. Because so many times throughout my youth, with my parents being addicts and then dealing with my oldest son, I just felt isolated and abandoned. Like everybody was more concerned about them, and I was just left to the wayside. Or, well, you can go to an Al-Anon meeting. Well, that doesn't help me. How do I get to Al-Anon? There was like really no guidelines. And then even there, I didn't feel I was getting what I needed. And once I found the Herren Project, and once the family meetings started, I was like, oh my gosh, these are my people. They're helping me. I just wanted to spread the word to everybody. And every chance I get, I do this. I tell everybody, okay, you're having a problem. Okay, well, I understand that. Check out the Herren Project. Just here's the website. Here's the ambassador card. Just check it out. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me 24/7. I don't care. I will answer my phone whenever. Just, take care of you. But this is for you. And it's not that I'm saying I don't care about your person that's suffering, but I want them to know that, someone is there to help them. Because most people that are talking to me about this, they're like, oh my gosh, this is so horrible. And I'm like, I feel you, but here's another resource for you. Mm-hmm. An interesting story about taking the ambassador part a little bit further. The company I work for, they're very into like helping everybody that's on in their teams and being very open and stuff. So they asked every member on our team if they would have a story to share or something. So I talked to Pam and I got the presentation for the Herren Project. I did a whole 20-minute presentation for my team at work about the Herren Project because it's something I'm so passionate about. And I was just amazed by the people that responded positively at work. And they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. And I know this person, and this person in my life that are really struggling. Can I get their information? Can I share this? And I'm like, of course, that's why we're doing this, So mm-hmm. It was just so wonderful to be able to share even more information to people that I would have never in the world thought to share with.
Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for doing that. I mean, we have to continue to share and spread the word. And again, it comes back to the power in our story. We've talked about that a few times. I know we talked for a while before we all came on tonight, the power in sharing our story, which, started with our own founder, Chris Herren. And I think that's continued to kind of carry with the Herren Project mission. And because of that, so many people have found recovery or found healing. Not everybody, everybody has their own journey, and everything has to come in time. But I think, being able to share that with other people just empowers everybody to know that they are not alone. And when the time is right, that, there is help available.
Exactly.
So that's great. So I know in the past too, you also didn't you do a race for Herren Project?
Yes.
Big undertaking. I remember.
So it was.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So I first decided I really wanted to be a race director. So I was going to try this race, and I love ultras. And I know a lot of our team members for the Herren Project runs would do smaller races, and they weren't necessarily into ultras. So I tried to create a race that was kind of a bridge between the two. So I called it the Lakeshore Mini Ultra. So then that way it was kind of an introduction. It gave you the full aid station. Why I love ultra running is because all the food and the giant spread of food out at every aid station. And most road races, you don't get that. So I wanted to make sure they had that experience. And I was able to talk to the city, give them my whole Herren Project thing. So they didn't make me pay for the permits. They let me have the race. They actually ran free advertisements in their local stuff, or their advertisements in magazines and monthly flyers for me. So then that way it helped a lot too. And I don't remember the exact dollar amount because obviously that was pre-COVID, but I think it was over $5,000 that I raised, which in hindsight isn't very much, but for it being the first race I've ever did, I was pretty thrilled. And then last year, because of COVID, we ended up having to cancel the race completely. This year, we had a very low turnout because everybody was starting to come back and no one knew what the regulations were going to be. And we still had quite a few people sign up. And I want to say 80% of them, when we had to cancel the race, still donated their entries to the Herren Project. So I was like, obviously, we're making an impact in the community because they still wanted to give, even though we couldn't hold the race. So I'm still hopeful that hopefully next year things will be, closer to a quote unquote normal. So then that way we can pick it back up where we left off, because it was so much fun.
Yeah, it was a great event. And before we bring Natalie back on, I know in July we started our Power of One, and that's when I asked Natalie too, who or what inspires you, and the things you're talking about, it being the power of one is sharing our time, talent, or treasure. And I know that we're grateful for you doing all of those things, for Herren Project. So before we bring Natalie back on, what or whom inspires you?
The person, or I shouldn't say person, it's the people who take the initiative for themselves. They are the go-getters. They take care of themselves. It's not like a hero of any sort, but the person that just embodies everything to make themselves better. So if you take that one step to improve yourself, even if it's just waking up in the morning and putting that smile on your face so you can get out of bed, you know what, that's inspiring to me. Because there's some people that I know can't. There's been days when I'm like, this is a real struggle. I'm not sure I want to smile today. But I know there's somebody out there that is going to smile, that is going to take that extra step. And just knowing that and feeling that in my heart and soul, that is the inspiration to me, is somebody that can just take that little extra step for themselves, which helps everybody else around them.
That's great. That's perfect. That's beautiful. All right. So let's bring in Natalie.
Hi again.
Hello.
So I wanted to bring Natalie back on with Kristie because I said this is a unique opportunity where we have a youth ambassador and an adult ambassador on at the same time. So I thought it would be fantastic to have both of you on. And I know I didn't get to do this at the beginning, so we're going to do it right now quickly. I didn't have you share your 3 fun facts about yourself. So you know what? That's how we're going to kick this off. So what are your 3 fun facts, Natalie?
Okay.
You've got a lot of time to share.
Fun facts is a scary time for me. Number 1, I would say my favorite fun fact of all time is that I have a dog named Kevin. He is my joy. I love him. Number 2 is that I can recite 100 digits of pi. And
that's crazy.
Very
okay.
random talent. Very random. And number 3, I mean, not so much of a fun fact, but I'm left-handed.
All right, that's great.
That is
pretty rare.
Yeah, that is rare. That is rare. Now, Kristie, you can't, if you're left-handed, you can't use that.
Yeah, I can't steal that.
I'm right-handed. There's my fun fact. Everything I do is in my right hand. Play with my toys, play with my phone. So when I have to do anything with my left hand, I'm like, it's a foreign creature. I don't even know what to do with it. So my second, because I'm going to use that as my first fun fact. My second fun fact is that I'm a vegan and I hate salad.
Oh,
absolutely hate salad. There's nothing worse to me than when I go to a restaurant and all I can get is a salad. It's just like, ugh, it's so disappointing.
Yeah,
it is.
Great.
It is brutal. And I think the third fun fact, although I should have saved my Pam story for this, is that when I've lived in quite a few different states, when I was a young child in elementary school, I lived off of Route 20 in Iowa. When I grew up and moved into Ohio, I lived on Route 20 in Ohio. So it's the same Route 20. So it's super cool. And also I-90 has always been really close to my life. So it's like either Route 20 or I-90. I'm going to have to find future homes if I ever decide to move along those 2 routes. And one day I do want to. Right, exactly.
I think they have those routes probably everywhere too. I know we in Massachusetts, I'm not in Massachusetts, but Massachusetts, I know for a fact they have Route 20 and Route 90. So
I know.
Your next move could be Massachusetts. So anyway. Exactly. You know, we love our ambassadors. So we have you, Kristie, are one of 23 adult ambassadors, and Natalie, you are one of, going to be 13 this upcoming year. So it's really amazing. We are so grateful to have such an incredible team of people around. So you, Natalie, are going to be, we will announce this now because we didn't really say it, but, you will be our president of our first ever executive board, leading our youth ambassadors this year alongside with Izzy. So we're really excited to have you doing that. When you think about what does being an ambassador mean to both of you? We'll let you go first, Natalie. What does it mean?
Yeah, I think that being an ambassador to me really means living the mission of the Herren Project and bringing it back to my own community, my own school, my own life, and then being able to be president, be a leader in this organization, to me means that not only am I going to live the mission for myself, but I'm going to be a role model for the other National Youth Ambassadors, and also, once again, like the people in my community. So I feel like it gives me another set of people that I want to inspire. I want to be a role model for.
Great. And how about you, Kristie?
Well, Natalie stole my thunder. No, my purpose in being the ambassador is, again, just to really share the family aspect of the Herren Project, because like I mentioned previously, it just seems like that gets overlooked a lot. And I'm so passionate about, one, the family, because without family, we're alone. And so family is so important to all of us. So I really want to focus on the family as far as the ambassadorship goes. And I think we lost Bonnie.
Uh-oh.
Here I am again.
She's back. I was thinking of questions. I was just going to start interviewing Natalie myself, and I'm glad you came back.
I was just sitting here, and all of a sudden it just went away. I'm like, uh-oh, I hope I didn't end the broadcast. But here I am back. Okay, so keep talking.
We completed.
Okay. Technical difficulties. I'm not perfect, that's for sure. So, and I think we are still live, so it hasn't ended.
Yep.
Okay. So anyways, do you guys have any words of advice or ways, like, I know we talked about, we were going to try to do some coffees this year. The youth ambassadors want to engage with the adult ambassadors at some point in time. So we're going to try to do some fun coffees, online coffees and things like that. So I think that will be really exciting. And I think it's just a great opportunity for us to, we are a family here at Herren Project. We are a community. And I think of all ages, and we all come together and just try to inspire, support, inspire, and empower people across the country. And I think that this is just indicative. I love the youth ambassadors and having them be part of everything that we're doing. And I've always, the adult ambassadors are amazing. And I just love seeing it come full circle, or like, I should say what Pam says, we're her horseshoe. I wish you would, she said the H, it's like a horseshoe, and we're not really a circle, and that we're inclusive and welcoming to everybody. So the circle is always open to allow new people to come in. So we'll end on that note before I mess up anymore. But any final words before we go from either one of you?
Just be you and be happy.
I love that.
Can't top that.
Yeah, you can't top that. See, now you stole her thunder. All right. So thank you both for being on tonight. We'll just from here, thank you everybody for joining us. And we'll see you next week for episode 70. We have some great guests coming. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.